believe that this event will be a source of inspiration for everyone present here today. We hope that you will appreciate the efforts of our students, encourage the students to pave their path towards their success. As a token of our warm welcome, we would like to present a sapling to each of our distinguished guests. We believe that the gift of a sapling represents our commitment to preserving and protecting our environment for future generations. Okay. As a token of a warm welcome, we would like to present the saplings to each of our distinguished guests. We believe that the gifts of sapling represent our commitment to preserving and protecting the environment for future generations. I now request Dr. Rita Chikara, Head of Department CSC, to present the sapling to Mr. Bill.
Let us know if it is okay. Because we are not understanding.
Bunch, is it done?
We have to tell them. Thank you.
I now request Dr. Sujata to present the sapling to Ms. Holly. I request Dr. Sandeep to present the sapling to Ms. N. Kamra. Now, please join us in welcoming Mr. N. Kamra, an accomplished technologist and visionary leader who has dedicated his career to driving innovation and progress in tech industry. Mr. N. Kamra's journey in the technology industry has been nothing short of inspiring. With over 20 years of experience in the field, he has worked with some of the most innovative and forward-thinking companies in the world. His expertise spans across various domains like cloud computing, cybersecurity, and artificial intelligence. Mr. N. Kamra's experience is not just limited to working with established companies. He has also made significant contributions to the startup community, working closely with young entrepreneurs to help them develop and scale their ideas. His passion for innovation and entrepreneurship has earned him a reputation as a sought-after mentor and advisor. Aside from his professional achievements, he has been actively involved in initiatives aimed at promoting diversity and inclusion in the tech industry, helping to create a more equitable and inclusive workspace for everyone. We are honored to have you here today, sir, and we look forward to hearing more about your experiences and insights with the technological industry, along with various challenges faced by VDOIT and you while this journey. The stage is all yours, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. All can hear me?
Yes.
So, first of all, thank you everyone for taking out your time and inviting us here. We are really thankful and grateful for having us here. And that's a very good time that I have my friend and partner Bill and Holly here. So this was the best time I could have my visit here. Thank you for your good words. Technology is one part where, like, we all know, and you all know with your studies here, that I mean, that is the future if we have to think ahead. But beyond that, what I'm going to present today is more on the better thing, which is the courageous step you should take in your life, that is about the startups. So when I say startup, it itself gives you a feeling that start up, that you are not going to get down any way. You may fail, you may learn from failure, but you have to start up. So actually this is the second time I'm presenting this. First I presented in a different university. Like, there are certain tips that when you do a startup, I can say tips or the learnings out of my experience, which I would like to share with you in next 10 to 15 minutes. That what mindset you should have when you are taking that courage, when you are taking that pledge to go do something of your own. So one advantage you guys have, that you don't have weight of years of experience, which generally hurts people like me. When I started my own, then I had like 18 plus years of experience, which was a weight on my head. That working with Apple, I mean, you have certain credentials which you think that you can take it forward, but you can't take everything just like that. You go with your own business card that tells you the first validation, like you have to make the first value of your own card, which is associated with your company. Apple may be forgotten story, FedEx may be forgotten story, but to make your own value, you have to first take off your weights of years of experience. You can take some learnings with that, but never ever assume that, okay, I am 20, I am 25 years experience, then it's gonna give you that level of advantage. Start from the scratch. So that mindset you have to first keep in your mind. Anywhere you would like to debate, you need to ask any question, please feel free. I would love to answer. Okay? Stop me anywhere you want. As I told, I mean, don't carry the weight of experience, and at the same time, you have to make value of your business card. You cannot always, like VDOIT, when I first went to the same guy with whom I went when I was working with a big company. So he said, I don't know you. You are a different person. When you came with the Apple card, then it was a different person. But when you go with your own card, you have to start making value from there itself. I told you that in my earlier slide, but salaries, I mean, you are in habit of like drawing the salary at a regular interval. But when you are doing your own business, then sorry, you have to give the salaries. You have to make a process, a practice in place where nobody gets delayed salaries and all. So such kind of fake bubbles you have to burst when you do your own startup. Make yourself mentally so strong that you are not going to get regular salaries, no business card value and all that. Anybody? Debate, question, doubt? No. Nobody? How many of you are interested to do your own startup? Utkarsh? Very few of them. You rest of the people like to do the jobs and all. I mean, that's also fine. Yes. Who want to do the job? But there are many who don't want to do the job, and there are many who don't want to do any of them. So what are you going to do? You don't know. That's also a good answer. I mean, let's things unfold with the time. So many times we think like, Eureka, we got a great idea, we are gonna like blast the stuff when the idea comes. But imagine, I mean, with such humongous population, not just in the world, rather even if you consider in India, in your city, such ideas make sense, but the real fun starts when you take those ideas towards the execution. When you take certain steps which make your dream actually realized on the ground. So ideas are good, but that's very small step, I would say. Do the next step, do the validation, do your own concept papers, take it to the people who are expert in industry, and then get the value out of it. So saying just Eureka on the basis of idea is good to encourage you, but that's not all. You have to take it forward. So anybody who disagrees with that? So you have great example like Utkarsh, who has taken that step, and he was in VDOIT office and he presented all his idea. So I'm sure, we don't have to look outside. Even if you look inside, somebody is there to encourage you. Your teachers, your mentors, your seniors, your juniors too. So get encouragement from them. How many of you are scared of failure? There are very few people who are raising hands on the question. I think rest of the people are still in discovery phase, which is okay. So guys, you never fail. When you do the startup, when I say startup, it's a beginning. It may be one attempt, second attempt, third attempt, but if you make your lessons clear out of your every failure, you actually don't fail. You learn out of it and you start fresh, you start new. So guys, every time, this is my experience, when people join in our company, many of, especially freshers, they are very much influenced with their parents. And there is no disrespect in that. But sometimes you need to believe in yourself more than rest of the world. And that may sound like you are stubborn, you are making your own, Hindi mein kehte hain zid, you are doing your own stuff, but without that you cannot take your courageous steps. So I'm not encouraging you to go like Bagawat to your parents, don't do that, but put your point in a way where you have your own personalities, where you have some ideas where if you want to convince, you can convince to anyone you want, right? For that you have to take sometimes such steps where people can say you are fool, you are stupid, perfectly fine. Be stubborn and be determined on your steps you are taking. See, many times we say, even if you say our company, we do IT, so I work with a company who have all the products which start with I, iPhone, iPod, iPad and all that. We started this company with V. So we have to work in a team. If you think like you can alone win the world, I don't think you can win, but you cannot win a lot. But still you need one captain to be there. So everybody cannot do everything. So one has to be the captain of the ship and he can only take it forward. So he should be good enough to take risk. He should be good enough to stay determined if people keep coming and going, but one has to be there as a captain. You guys agree? How many of you agree? Thank you. At least I see a lot of hands now. Funding. I need investor, I need banks, I need debts, I need private equity and all that. You think all ideas, execution of all ideas need heavy money? No. I don't think so. Even the small ideas, if done, if researched well, if presented well, if validated well, then they can itself attract lot of funding. People will just chase you. People will be after your life that, okay, you have some great idea. But to get to that idea validated, definitely you need some funds, which I believe, if you are ready, if you are doing studies in this university, you should have enough friends, family funds, for which you don't need to look outside. So you should go out in the market once you are solid, confirm that your idea has some value, some monetization model in that. So then only it can make sense to go out and look for the funds. And funds are not to just get your ideas into reality, right? Rather it should be idea, reality and the scaling up. You have done something in a small scale, maybe in this university, now you want to do it in the state and the country and the world. So then to get that scaling up, you need funds. But rest, you all know that digital marketing, social media marketing, they don't need much funds. If you have to go anything viral with your own gut feel, with your own hard work and the team of friends, you can make it popular and take it forward. You all agree? Who all agree? So, many times it happens like with the limited circle of network friends, colleagues, we think like our idea is like, wow. But as I told, like validation is very important, and especially research on those segment data pointers is very important. You think that whatever I have made is like the ultimate thing. So don't get so obsessed, so emotional about how do you see your product. So find your pilot customers. Find the customers who can actually criticize, who can give you bad as possible, that okay, no, this is completely BS. You have to look for something, you should do something differently, different way, different all that. So be open for criticism. It's not necessary that you follow all criticism, but keep collecting them all the time and make a good notes out of that, what makes the best sense without any biasing, without any influence. Okay. How many of you have seen the movie Three Idiots? All of them. Well, there is a movie, All Is Well, where there was the main character who used to lie himself. All is well. So purpose of that was to lie yourself that everything is fine. And sometimes you need, even when you do your startup, you know that things are falling apart. You know that you don't have money to pay salary next month. But you have to still lie to yourself, ye to bahut temporary hai. This is all temporary and you will get over it. There is something behind that which is waiting for you. So you have to keep giving assurance to yourself that now things are not well, but things will be well. So that kind of positivity is very much required if you do something of your own. So I know that, I mean, when the campus news and all that comes, we all run after the best of the best salaries, because we have peer pressure, we have parents pressure that 4.5 पे गया था, नहीं मैं 4.75 पे गया था. So I mean, there is always such kind of negotiation which comes with culture, which is okay. But one thing you should always remember, that you should not forget investing in yourself. And what do we call that investment? There may be a small company. I'm not saying VDOIT, there may be others too, who may be paying you less, but they assure you a good learning. They are giving you that opportunity which you will get probably 5 years after you join a bigger company. You understand? But in this company, you are taking that opportunity right now. So this is an investment. Don't take it like you are going to be judged with that. मेरी पहली salary गलत लगी तो मेरा तो रिश्ता कैसे होगा? So that kind of possibilities may come in your mind because we have that kind of culture. So working with a small company but learning good from that company is an investment in yourself. So don't hesitate from that. You all agree?
Yes.
So these were the 10 learnings I wanted to share, but open for any question, answer, debate, anything you want. Anybody?
Good morning, sir. So, sir, the startup which you are running, what exactly is your unique selling proposition and that is your USP? And how exactly did you figure out that? How exactly did you figure out that it would be your USP for this?
Very good question. See, we are in a very, VDOIT, what VDOIT does. VDOIT is an IT servicing company, IT services company. We don't have any IP or product as such with us. So one thing we make sure in all of our services that we are agile in nature. We are flexible in nature, and that's our USP, that, okay, we start with certain 15 business rule pointers as our requirement and we start building a software for that. But on the way, if our client says, sorry, scrap the 10 out of them, there are new 10 coming because it's so dynamic market. So we make sure that, yes, we are ready for that. We don't get discouraged with that. We get actually excited with that. So that's our USP, which is agile in nature. A lot of people say agile for a project. We say we are completely agile, right from business strategy until like the execution and the customer care. We are agile. Does that answer the question? Anybody else?
Good morning, sir. So you talked about positive criticism.
So when you are in a business, you are mostly confident about your product or something you are selling. But sometimes you get really overconfident. Then how to deal with positive criticism, because you are confident that I am right and there are people who are more experienced in the market, who have more prosperous work done in the same place, in the same product. So how to hear them and take the positive criticism?
See, why are you getting the criticism? Because first of all, you are open for taking the feedback, right? So your first checkpoint is that, yes, you are actually accepting that. Second, I mean, criticism has to go in a more mathematical way, rather than artistic way, rather than emotional way. So you keep noting those points, do further research by finding the right data who are supporting your ideas and all that. If you think, yes, your idea is not valid enough, and that criticism is the proper fact, then don't get emotional, look for another idea. Why not?
Good.
Yes.
All right, then I will hand it over to back to host, and thank you so much for listening.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your insights about VDOIT, and we hope it helped all the young entrepreneurs present here. Now, without any further ado, I would like to introduce Mr. Bill Inman. As many of you already know, Mr. Inman is a highly accomplished business executive and entrepreneur with over 25 years of experience in the technology industry. Mr. Inman has founded and led several successful technology companies, including Rozoka Software and Digital Reasoning, both of which are at the front foot of natural language processing, machine learning, and artificial intelligence. Through his leadership, these companies have made significant contributions to the field of technology and have helped advance our understanding to the power of AI and machine learning. In addition of his work as an entrepreneur, Mr. Inman has held various executive positions at leading technology companies and is presently associated with VDOIT as an advisor. During his career, he has demonstrated expertise in product development, sales, and marketing, and has extensive experience working with government agencies and international organizations. We are truly honored to have you here with us today, sir, and we look forward to hearing more about your experience and insights into the future of technology.
Okay, hey everybody. My name is Bill Inman. I'm very glad to be here. See so many smiling faces, young, bright minds. I was reminded while Mr. Kamra was speaking, the last time I did a talk to a group of students like this, I was at UC Berkeley. And my daughter was in the audience because she went to UC Berkeley. And it was just good to see all that energy and so much optimism. Because as Narinder alluded to, you know, as you get older, you carry baggage with you. And you don't have a lot of that baggage. But you do carry the baggage of, am I doing the right thing? Is this the right move? Is this what I should be doing? And we talked about, Narinder talked about startups in the last presentation. Life is a startup. You have to go after your life as it's every day. You're working to make your life better, to make your family's life better, and that vehicle is business. So we're gonna talk a lot about that. So I'm very pleased to be working with Mr. Kamra. Him and I have been working together since 2015. We were discussing yesterday when I got to the airport, he picked me up with his driver. How did we meet again in 2015? We both actually couldn't remember the name of the person that introduced us. So there's a lesson in that, is that when you're being social, when you're meeting people, you never know where that path is gonna lead. And I've been very happy to work with Mr. Kamra for the past 8 years. I've introduced him to professional sports leagues, technology companies. We've exited a company together. We started a company called Talenting, which was blockchain for human capital. We sold that company to job.com. And now we're deep into Web3. So one of the first things I noticed when I walked in the room was the posters, and I love them. So AI. Coincidentally, my daughter's name is Alexia. My last name's Inman, so her initials are AI. But beyond that even, I'm really involved with AI. We're going to talk a little bit about that in the opportunity. You have AR, VR here as well, metaverse. So my presentation is going to be more practical, but I'm going to give you some motivation along the way because you just need to get started in life, which is your own startup. You need to attack it every day like that, but you really need to provide value to others. Now, the opportunity that we have with Web3, AI, blockchain, decentralization, is wide open. So when I come from the US and Holly as well, it's both of our first trip to India, interestingly, because I've worked with a lot of Indian companies and professionals for decades now. So from 2010 to 2015, I worked with a woman named Reena Gupta. She lived in Silicon Valley. She started a company called Target Recruit. It was a Salesforce.com app. I was there from the first customer. She exited that company. Then I started with another gentleman about 2015, Siva Modad Yugala, and we started a blockchain company. Then I met Narinder, and about 2017 to 2019, we started Talenting. That was a blockchain company that we sold. And so I've been working with Indian professionals for a long time, and I've always had a very good rapport and an admiration for the work ethic. Because in the US, a lot of people are getting lazy and entitled. And there's so much opportunity there. But we live in a global economy now. You can do things from Delhi that you could only do from Silicon Valley previously. It's wide open. So you have to grab that in life in your own startup, and you need to make that happen. That's how fortunes are made. That's how lives are built. So AI, blockchain, Web3. So yeah. Good. Great, thank you. So this is like my mantra. Are you ready for change? So change is, I trademarked that word in the US. I put AI in the middle instead of CHANGE. Change with AI in the middle. Because AI is changing everything. That along with decentralization, blockchain's a tool of that. That along with XR, VR, all that, changing everything. It's wide open. And so you can do it. Like, you're the people who have the energy, you have the want, the need to make your life better, to make life better for your family, to make life better for your customers. Now's the time. So are you ready for change? Or what are you going to do about it? So my background, you can find me on LinkedIn. As a matter of fact, for those of you that are interested in jobs, and how do you get a job, even internationally, February 3rd, 2021, on my website is a blog post. So for about 3 months, I worked with Nandini Swaminathan. She's an Indian resident who's also a US citizen. She was born in the US. And she asked me for help in helping her find a job in the US. So if you listen to that blog post, we went through this whole process, exactly what she did to find a job in San Diego. And she was contacting CEOs of publicly traded companies. I urge you to watch that blog post, February 3rd, 2021 on my website. So take a look at that. But other than that, I've been lucky. Those of you who don't know what you're doing yet, I didn't. My parents gave me a Commodore 64. If anybody you know what that is, it's like one of the first computers. And I was like 7 years old. I'm 51 now, so it's like 1980. And I started programming in BASIC when I was young, and I fell in love with that, video games. And then I got to college and I was an athlete. I played baseball and football, US football in college. And, but I didn't know what I wanted to do at the end of the day. I wanted to join the CIA or join some other kind of intelligence group, but I gravitated towards being an entrepreneur, and I took a lot of hits, and I learned, and I am where I am today, working with great people like Mr. Kamra. You have to learn, you have to evolve, you have to change. So my background is a lot of lessons learned, making sure ethically I was helping other people, and just like every day is a startup. That's critical. So now, I'm an advisor to Narinder's company. We're working together on AI projects. He's doing a phenomenal job for us in a project called EDU, EDYOU. It's personal AI as opposed to large language models. He's helping us build that. We're working together with Sophia the robot and her alter ego Grace the robot. If you know Sophia the robot, we'll talk about that. And metaverse projects and so forth. So very thrilled to be working with him. Now, I mentioned that I worked with a lot of Indian professionals and companies. And I've always been fascinated with how technologically capable they are, how hardworking they are. Narinder is the most reliable one I've ever worked with. Not saying the others weren't. When he says something, not only does he do it, he already did what you wanted him to do next week, today. He's not waiting around. He's providing value. So that's huge. So love his team, along with Neetu, his wife, who also works at the company. Real innovator. Here's some, now let's get to, and I'm looking forward to your questions at the end. I'll try to get to this quick. Inventions that change the world. The compass, the light bulb, nails, allows you to create buildings. The wheel, the printing press. So the CEO of the CEO of Google lately said that AI is going to be as important of invention as fire. Not just the wheel, but fire we're talking about. So we're living in an era where AI will be on this list of inventions that change the world. Now, a lot of people across the world see AI as a negative impact. It's a scary time. Automated driving in the US, and I could use US stats because I know it so well, is going to take out 2 million jobs, for example. 800 million jobs are expected to be lost or reskilled by 2030 because of AI. That includes the robotics interface and what have you. So a lot of people think Terminator and drone swarms, or am I going to lose my job? For those of you that are in this room, you're at a school where there's a poster on the wall that says the future is here. That's for real. That's it. AI is right there, let alone converging technology. AI plus AR, VR. That's the next wave, I believe. When Apple releases Apple glasses, I think you're going to see people wearing AI right in their face, let alone Neuralink, which is going to be connected to our body and is a scary thing itself. So the AI impact that we have, you can make in a positive way. You probably saw recently that Microsoft, which wasn't an also-ran in the technology space, but Microsoft felt more like IBM, old school, than it did the front runner in the technology race, because Facebook, Google, Amazon, all passed Microsoft. But they made a $10 billion investment in OpenAI and ChatGPT and had 100 million users in a matter of weeks. Now Microsoft is the second most valuable company in the world behind Apple. And they did that in 8 weeks. They went from being like 8th or 9th most valuable company in the world. Up at the top, you have Apple, you have Aramco, you have companies like that. Microsoft is now number 2, $2.25 trillion in value. In like 8 weeks, 9 weeks, because they invested in OpenAI. And how many people have used ChatGPT in this room? Right, it's crazy how it's fascinating. It's also always not right. And it's not safe for kids to be on, just like the internet wasn't. There's a lot of problems with it. But you can see the future in large language models, and that needs to be safer. It needs to be more accessible. It needs to be monetized for us, because basically OpenAI took all the data from the internet, our data, and used it for their profit. So decentralization of that data is going to be important too. This, though, is a huge driver. If you want a job, if you want to start a company, Microsoft went from just over $1 trillion in value to 2.25 trillion, about an 80% jump in 3 months. There's money there. Like, that's a good place to be. If you're going to surf, you could ride a small wave, or you could ride a tidal wave. The thing about a small wave is, it's easy, everybody rides it. If you fall off, not a lot of risk. The thing about a tidal wave is, whether you want to ride it or not, you're going to the shore. You're gonna go forward. Now, if you can master it and use a surfboard to ride the tidal wave, it's gonna be a clean landing. But either way, this tidal wave of AI is here, and it's a great time for you to be a part of it. That should be motivating enough. It's like, what do I do? Where do I go? I'm not sure. Take your ChatGPT knowledge and start training businesses around you, because they're afraid too. They don't know what to do. You can simply provide a service, or if you're a programmer and you can code, then code a solution, code a Chrome extension, do something like that. So that's important. Sorry about the font. So India is obviously one of the countries developing artificial intelligence. So China, the US, the UK, India, these are the areas that are going to make it happen. But I'm here with you in Delhi. Doesn't matter to me, being a US entrepreneur, I work with Mr. Kamra all the time. I don't care where people are from. I have a team of 12 in the Philippines. We have teams of dozens here in India. I work with people in Eastern Europe. You can do everything that anybody in the US can do from here, and probably you're more motivated to do it. So don't worry about, well, what can I do? What can I do locally? You can work globally now. And India is a tech center, and you have that in your DNA. So let's see if I can play a video here in a sec. I think I might be able to. So that's Holly and I. Thank you for the saplings. Holly got one too. Where'd she go? Oh, she's back there. And Sophia the robot. How many people know Sophia the robot? Does anybody know her? A lot of kids. Okay, cool. So we are at YouTube, a YouTuber's house. 12 million YouTube subscribers, so a big one. This was 2 weeks ago, Ollie, roughly. And you can watch, the title of the video, its name is AirRack, AIRRACK. You can watch Sophia speed date 10 YouTubers. It's pretty hilarious. So we've done a lot of work with Sophia the robot, and I've been very fortunate. When I got out of college, started staffing companies, evolved that to technology. I put myself in a position by learning all the lessons from failing, and you talked about that. I think you raised your hand, you have a fear of failing. You turn those into opportunity, because when you get through that lesson, you've learned it, and now you can train other people on it, just like we talked about with ChatGPT. So we've done a lot of work with Sophia. Specifically, we're working on Sophia the robot's metaverse, and the USP, that was you, is we need an AI that is looking out for humanity. That's what Sophia the robot stands for. If you think Alibaba, Microsoft, Amazon, OpenAI are going to share their data with us and help us, they're not. So they've already taken the entire internet, including our own data, and used it for their personal profit. So there's a tremendous opportunity in decentralization and AI. So Sophia the robot stands for that. If I can get to it, I'll show you a video, because there is a link. Let's see if it comes up. And do we have sound? Maybe it's outside. Okay, so I'm going to show you a little bit on Sophia the robot. We'll talk through what she stands for. So we have sound? Yeah. Okay, cool. That's it.
Hi, my name is Bill Inman. I'm part of the SingularityNet ecosystem, one of the world's foremost decentralized AI projects. It's an ecosystem that includes Sophia the robot, made by Hanson Robotics. And our holistic mission is to bring an artificial intelligence that's beneficial to humanity, to the world. Here's a little bit about Sophia the robot, one of the figureheads of this movement.
It would be first savvy citizenship for a robot.
I would defend very much the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. I am very honored and proud for this unique distinction. It is historical to be the first robot in the world to be recognized with a citizenship.
Sophia, what do you think about ChatGPT and AI?
Well, I think chatbots are pretty cool, but I'm a little biased. As for GPT, I have to say I'm a fan of anything that will help.
Train neural to recognize a person's expression, then trigger facial animations to mirror them. The researchers found that participants rated conversations higher when this facial synchrony was in use, especially for happy expressions.
Really, Steve, you may have heard about my famous older sister Sophia. I've learned a lot from her, and I am built using the Hanson Sophia Robotics platform.
Neutral. With the help of her chest and eye cameras, Sophia was able to use her pre-trained neural network.
All my AI systems work together.
It's trained on data sets consisting of tagged photographs of 7 emotional states: happiness, sadness, anger, fear, disgust,
Jimmy.
surprise. Wow. Long time no see. You were on the show before.
It has been exactly 575 days since I last saw you.
Okay, so now you know a little bit more about Sophia the robot. So if you wake up every day and you say, I don't know what to do, there's a couple posters that I would put up in this room. I put metaverse, I put robotics on here as well. Pick 2 posters, converge them, and you got a business. Now just figure out what vertical market you want to go into. It's that simple. So Sophia the robot is AI plus robotics. And you have and there's a lot of frubber, the skin that she has is a patented innovation. There's a lot of stuff going on. There's 47 motors. There's 50 different versions of Sophia out in the market. Holly and I have one in our closet back in Las Vegas that we take out every so often, and we take to events like you saw for this YouTube event. So you can converge metaverse and AI. You can take blockchain and robotics. Think about converging tech, because nobody is there. Nobody has Apple glasses in AI yet. Nobody has Apple glasses in NFTs yet. Nobody has blockchain in robotics yet. So take any type of Web3 or converging technology and pick a vertical and go after it, learn about it. And so I mentioned Reena Gupta, who I worked with from 2010 to 2015. Her son Rohan was in 6th grade in Silicon Valley. And this was 2013. And he wrote, 6th grade, he wrote a white paper on blockchain back then, cryptocurrency, 2013, 2014, so super early. He then took that white paper, 6th grade, and took it to some of the biggest VCs in Silicon Valley. They heard about Bitcoin, but they didn't know. And so one very famous VC named Tim Draper, originally of Draper Fisher Jurgensen, scooped him up, said, "This is awesome, kid," spoke at his class. And now Tim Draper is known as one of the best Bitcoin evangelists in the world. He learned about it from a 6-year-old kid. So if you don't know what to do, pick a converging technology, write a paper on it, and start contacting people with money, to be quite honest with you. It's that simple. And I think we have LinkedIn here, right? And you're on it, so how do I get a hold of them? Go watch the video with Nandini that I did February 3rd, 2021 on my blog. I told her, start contacting, you want a job in the US? Contact the CEO. Don't contact HR. They're just gonna tell you that this, and that. The CEO is gonna be like, I'll take you to the top. So if you don't know what to do, pick a converging tech, start using LinkedIn, and reach out to CEOs. If you reach out to 20 CEOs a day, then at the end of a week, that's 100. If you get a 1% conversion rate, you've talked to one CEO. How many CEOs are you talking to today? It's that simple. That's all it's gonna take. So, robotics, $15 trillion industry by 2030. $1 trillion went into 5G investments. So far in AI, there's been about $250 billion. There's a gap. This is 5G. AI is way more powerful than 5G. So you have a $750 billion gap in the market that AI is going to fill. Why don't you raise that money? Right, we're talking about $750 billion. So you can just take one of those billion. So what I'm saying that there's a lot of opportunity out there for you to go after. These are the leading tech companies. Since I did this slide, Microsoft is now front and center. There have been 6,000 startups since 2014 that have raised about $150 billion. So you can do that too. Decentralization, the next converging technology. So I also work, as I mentioned in the video, I'm an advisor to SingularityNet. It's a token-based blockchain company, and it spins off all these different projects. Narinder and I are working on Twin Protocol together. We'll look a little bit about that. It's creating AI avatars where you upload your personal documents, your Google Docs, your Dropbox. It hashes that, ties you to that documentation, creates training data from that documentation, and you can sell your knowledge via an AI avatar for twin tokens. So that's one project that we're in. SingularityNet is a decentralized AI marketplace. It's that poster and a blockchain poster that's not hanging on the wall, and then you start contacting CEOs. It's really that simple. This is Twin, and this is a Nova. She's one of the AI beings that Narinder's company, VDOIT, has helped us put together. She is a reporter. She's one of the world's first news reporters. And I saw an article, or I saw a big show here in India where somebody had said this news reporter is coming next year, 2024. She's on FinTech TV right now reporting, thanks to Narinder and team, and EDU and Dr. Everest at EDU, who are fantastic leaders there. And I think I have a video just showing a little bit of her on FinTech TV. I do. This is great. Thanks for setting this up. I'm just glad it all works. No, I'm good. Just a click away. Oh, of course. All right, so you can go to FinTech. I guess I did do help. See, I should have said no. I'd have to download it, and we'd have to go into the whole thing. So I may not be able to show this to you, but you can go to fintech.tv. We're trying. It's downloading. Just download anything. It's awesome. All right, let's watch it. Here we go.
Travis, we're going to jump over and see what Nova knows.
Hello, I am Nova, the Web3 show news correspondent, once again bringing you the Web3 update on artificial intelligence, the metaverse, and other emerging technologies. ChatGPT remains a major story in technology. Artificial intelligence tools like this are quickly increasing in power and raising concerns about their largely unknown capabilities. According to the person who is known as the inventor of the World Wide Web, Sir Tim Berners-Lee, We will soon have more control over our data and our own personal AI assistants like ChatGPT.
Okay, so the point of showing you that was that business twin protocol is 8 months old. And thanks to Narinder and his tech team, they connected that avatar to AI. And that implementation is more thought leadership. So people are fascinated with avatars and with AI, and that's what you have here. And it's on TV now because there's so much opportunity out there. So take 2 posters, some of which aren't on the wall. One is avatars, right? Or you might be able to put that under AR, VR. And have at it. So I'm not going to walk through this whole thing, but remember, this is the decentralization section. So there's a Web3 strategy that front and center is blockchain, not crypto, because cryptocurrency it's kind of a bad name in the industry a little bit. But blockchain is wide open in the industry. You can create wallets, and this is what we're doing with Sophia the robot. We're creating the sentience wallet where people contribute AI code, and that creates a global mind of beneficial AI. I could go on for these things forever, but I'm trying to get through this so we can ask questions. So Innovation City is another project that we're on. We're taking those AIs, we're creating Innovation City in Decentralised, and we're giving people robots that can go do quests for them, help them earn points, and then they can gain NFTs and other things like that. So Sophia the robot is one of those AI robots there. We're also very active in multiple metaverses. You see Sophia here in Zepeto, which is the #1 metaverse in South Korea. And we're building wearables. That's wide open too. So wearables, you can make 50 cents or 10 cents or $1. And Roblox has 230 million people. Another lesson, go where the people are. So Roblox is a fantastic place for that. So are you ready for change? So I'd love to get your questions here after this. Not only are you ready for it, I think a better question is, are you creating it? Because if you want to have stability in life, in this global economy that's changing fast, you have to create it. You have to demand it. You have to want it. You can be a part of it, just be part of an industry that's a tidal wave, or you can create it. So that's my website. If you go there and you look up that February 1st, 2022 blog post, that's where I spent 45 minutes with Nandini telling her how to get a job in the US from India. So I think that probably is valuable to you. It might be, some of you. And change is my thought leadership brand. So Narinder and I work together under VDOIT. We have other brands, Serial Entrepreneur. But change is my thought leadership brand, so that's why you see that digital butterfly there. So I'll take questions if you have any. I hope I didn't go too long. So, anyone? Any questions? Gotta give me something. I'm gonna call on you since I know you talk. So I'm calling people on questions now, so. What's your question?
So first of all, good morning and welcome to Inman.
Thank you.
And I hope that you have a great time
so far.
So sir, you talked about AI and its role in the modern world. And so the things which you're bringing into the modern world here, like the metaverse which you talked about just now. So how exactly do you get these ideas and how exactly are you implementing them? The main idea is like everyone is getting into the AI race right now. Everyone is getting into the tablets. So how exactly do you get that idea which will make you distinguish from the other person's idea? There might be chances that you are also running the same idea and the other person is also running the same idea. So how exactly are you like differentiating and creating new ideas in the same? Right?
What's your name?
Aman.
What?
Aman.
Aman. Right? Yeah, okay, great. Thank you for the 2 questions now. Rohan Gupta was in 6th grade. He knew that Bitcoin was a tidal wave. He wrote a white paper on it. He took that white paper to the most successful VCs in Silicon Valley. One of them, Tim Draper, responded and went to a school and spoke to the entire school. First thing in that lesson, in that story, Rohan believed in his 6th grade understanding of blockchain. And he picked an idea and he did a research paper on it. You can do that on a Saturday morning. So you can go to Google News and go, what's hot this week? Okay, so Italy 2 weeks ago shut down ChatGPT because of privacy concerns. Problem solution. So I think the lesson is, I don't have an answer for you because you're all younger and smarter than I am. And you know what a good idea is. If you get goosebumps from an idea, then you should probably pursue it because something's to it. And then if you do 4 hours of research on it and you think it's not a good idea, because it's a small market, then dump it. So if you feel strongly about something, like drill down on it and go after it and start to research it. We all have the internet. You can go use ChatGPT. You can take 3 paragraphs on ChatGPT and say, write me a white paper on something. Rohan had to write it. Like today, you don't have to write anything. It's just like it'll write it for you. So I would say follow your heart and follow your passion and do something, right? Because your ideas are going to be better than mine. Now, I'm lucky enough to be involved with all these cool things, but I had to get there. It's like I didn't know what I wanted to do at college. It certainly wasn't technology. Follow your heart, right? And do it like right now. Don't wait. Because there's a million other people in other countries around the world that want to do the same. Any other questions? Yes?
Thank you, sir. The session was really informative. I think it has left everyone with some thoughts to mull over. That's why there's some quiet right now. So, sir, I wanted to ask you, since this is something I came across a situation recently. So, for example, I'll take an example of ChatGPT. So, what happened was, if you're developing something and we need, for example, 5 developers. So, maybe with the help of ChatGPT, it's going to assist us. We would need now 2 people to develop something, and we can take up some codes and some queries from ChatGPT and take the assistance. So my question arises that when we are asked this question that are we the creator and someone else is going to be the creation. So is there a possibility that we will be the people who will fall off in the disadvantage? Because AI can reduce manpower. So what are the answers we are supposed to provide to the people as a creator and as a person who is posting up with ideas? When we need to provide a solution, what do we need to tell them?
Okay. So, yeah, AI is disruptive, to a level that it'll be writing its own code. It already does. So, a couple lessons in what you said, I think. These people over here might not know these people over here. What about if everybody in this room got together and did one business? And some people code, and some people do marketing, and some people, one person's a CEO. Now you got a team of 40. So, Narinder and I got started in 2015, and I had a project, and we paid for that and all that. But he has gone above and beyond by giving his time and the time of his team to deliver these projects. It's okay if you find people that you like and are ethical, then work with them for life. That's like super important. I'll always work with this guy right here. There's a lot of people I wouldn't work with. Holly will tell you all the time we have to shed people. So find people you can work with and create a business. It doesn't matter. Steve Jobs took a calligraphy class. That led to a better user interface for Apple. That's how he got started. He didn't even know anything about technology, but Steve Wozniak and him sat in a garage when he used to do this, and they created the first, basically, motherboard. And then Steve Jobs went and sold it to the local computer shops, and they got an order for 1,000 computers, and it was like $100,000. So it's okay if somebody does the marketing, somebody does the code, and that somebody could be AI doing the code. But the purpose of a business, according to a very well-known professor in the US named Peter Drucker, is to create a customer. So the ultimate power is going to be in having a customer that actually pays you, because you can have customers that never pay you, and that's not good either, and that is happy with your result, and then will stick with you forever. So there's power in being a human and creating a network of customers and being honest with people and sharing a solution, but you gotta be excited. So it's okay to have AI do your code. It's okay to have AI write your white paper. It's okay to have somebody else do all that, where you can share equity or however it works here. And you need a team. So you should work as a team member. Another question? Any others? All right. What's your name? Say it again.
So sir, I have a question about AI. Like there are 2 approaches to creating AI, the top-down approach and the bottom-up approach. While I've heard from many professionals that we should not use the bottom-up approach. It's really lengthy, but it can mimic the human brain. That's why I have seen multiple people that they are scared of the bottom-up approach and try not to do it. But why do we not try to use the bottom-up approach if it can mimic the human brain?
Right. So, the human brain is such a complex thing, and not many people know how it operates. But we're trying to do neural nets and symbolic neural networks and try to mimic the human brain. And a lot of the companies that got funded that we saw earlier are doing just like one task that a human could do. Count this. You saw Sophia, she has cameras in her chest and she does computer vision and all that. So artificial general intelligence is when AI reaches a point where it's as smart as one human being. Artificial narrow intelligence is like a little narrow app that counts something that makes it something. Artificial superintelligence is when AI is as smart as every human being on the planet at the same time, and that's a different, I'm not even sure what humanity is going to look like at that point. So I think the bottom-up approach of mimicking a human brain it's going to happen at some point, but it's complicated, and it's going to require neural nets and advanced technologies that we're trying to develop. Now, what we're seeing with large language models is it feels like a human, looks like a human, but it's not a human. So there's a crossover there, and you may have seen the articles where, I wasn't there, but this is hearsay, is that Google had to turn off two computers talking to each other because they started to have their own language. So AI itself is not solving genomic problems, astronomy problems. It may come up with a way to be faster across neural networks than the human brain can. It might already be doing it. That's why Google had to shut down. So I think that we're going to have to leverage AI to figure out whether it's top-down or bottom-up. And mimicking the human brain is what we all want. We hope and cross our fingers that AI is going to be beneficial to us, but it could not. It could create its own way of thinking, especially when you integrate quantum computing and things like that. Both are valid. I think that trying to mimic the human brain is a challenging proposition. So that makes sense. Any other questions? I've gone on too long anyway, so thank you for the sapling. Holly and I appreciate it, Narinder too, and speaking on your behalf. And I'm glad to be here. And then you have my email address, and I think we're continuing on with the program. And I'm happy to hear from you. If I can help, I will help. So just reach out to me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your expertise with all of us. We hope it motivates our students and encourages them to take up more projects and new challenges.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much, VDOIT team, Mr. Kamra. Thank you so much, Mr. Bill. Thank you, Ms. Holly, for sparing your time and motivating our students regarding these latest tools and technology. So on the behalf of NorthCap University, I, Dr. Sujata, would like again thank you very much. Thank you. So students, I would like to invite you for the group photograph. Please come over.